I want you to really think about this morning. If someone asked you to make a visual representation of how you feel about the violence we're seeing right now in the city, what would that look like? High school principal asked his students that very question, and the results are hanging in the school's auditorium right now. I will show you some of the video and the messages of those t-shirts in just a bit. Right now, let's say good morning to Shaka Rawls. He is the principal of Leo Catholic High School. Good to have you on the show as always, my man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Before we get to what the students came up with, talk about the inspiration for this project.
So I was visiting a good friend of mine, Dr. Tafari, in North Carolina. I was actually at Winston-Salem State University, and they had this display that was moving. It was anti-violence against women in particular, and it was a clothesline project. It was displayed on that quad, and their students had these depictions of different T-shirts and their sayings of anti violence against women. And so I thought, what a powerful message that it sent to me in my visit there, and how can I get that same message to my students? So I partnered with 9 other principals in Chicago, both public and private schools. And St. Francis de Sales is the other high school, but the rest of them were elementary schools. And we asked our students to show us what violence feels like in a visual illustration.
Data shows, we've been talking about this all morning long, Chicago is seeing its most deadly year in more than a decade. These kids are dealing with things they should not have to deal with. They're living with fear, but many, I understand, have hope as well. So tell us about some of the T-shirts that we'll be showing people here in this video.
So a lot of the things would just be asked students to just tell me what you're grappling with, right? Show me, illustrate what you're fighting with, what's your inner thoughts. And it was amazing that students had this kind of untapped, emotions attached to not only violence, but their proximity to violence, their proximity to poverty, their proximity to community problems, right? And so sometimes, and I think that's what we're not getting here in the conversation about violence, is that we're not talking to children, right? We're asking the police what they should do, right? We're asking the aldermen are calling for certain actions, right? But I think that the real issue is to really tap into what emotions are not only prompting students to commit the violence, but how do they feel after violence is perpetrated against them? And being surrounded in a community like Auburn Gresham or Inglewood or even Woodlawn, where I'm from, right? Being surrounded in these communities, you have a close proximity to violence, and that has a deep traumatic impact on the way you see the world. And I think that us giving students the opportunity to express themselves and to deal with that, to grapple with these emotions, that's our real role, right? And I think that we're missing that sometimes.
I love the one that said love, not pain. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know you have one in your office as well. What does that one say?
So this is one of my graduating seniors, Adam Means. He just graduated, it's a beautiful representation of the way he feels, right? So there's the city of Chicago flag that's got blood dripping from the top of it. He did this with a marker, right?
Wow.
Right. And so there were 2 things with this: is that it's not only is it a really moving portrayal of the way he sees the city of Chicago, right? There's a gun, and he said he purposely left the student's face unmarked, right? He left it kind of a blank face because this could be anyone, right? And he talked about this, and I always tell, when I tell a story about Adam's shirt, is that not only did I not know that he was grappling with this in his head, I also didn't know he had this type of artistic talent, right?
Wow.
So you never know what type of potential students have. And this is just another venue, another medium for them to express themselves. And that's our real goal.
You're keeping the school open too all summer, not just so people can see these shirts in person, but also as a safe space for your students.
Look, I mean, the south side of Chicago is on fire. The west side of Chicago is on fire, right? I mean, the city of Chicago is on fire. And if there's a safe space that I can convene students, right, at a minimal cost, then I'm gonna allow that to happen. I did, and my staff as well. We sacrificed our summer. We gave up the month of July to make sure that our boys are safe, and the community as well. We've opened our space to a number of community partners as well. The idea is that we all want to come out of this summer together, right? And we made it through a pandemic, and I will not allow the streets after surviving a pandemic, I will not allow the streets of Chicago to take any of my boys.
Shaka Rawls, the principal of Leo Catholic High School. Always a pleasure talking with you, man. Keep inspiring, keep mentoring these young men. And as always, if there's anything I can do to help out, come speak to the kids, you let me know. You holla at me. All right, my man. Have a good week.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, as always.
All right. It is